The GallowgateShots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the GallowgateShots YouTube and podcast channel. After 2 cup games in a row, we now focus our attentions back to the Premier League, back to weekly football. Well, I say weekly football, we're playing on Wednesday, so it's not even 7 days are going to pass and we're going to be back at St James's Park. But we're here for another match preview. This one is for the Wolves home game. I'm Scott, I'm your host for this one, and I am joined by Daryl and Andy. Boys, let's jump straight into this one. It's on Wednesday. It's the 15th of January. It's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. It's under the lights at St James's Park. And for everybody like myself who yet again didn't get in the ballot, because who wins the ballots? Nobody wins the ballots anymore. It's live on TNT Sports 3, because I think there's about 5 million other games on TNT Sports this week. So you'll have to really scroll down your TV guides to find this one. Wolves aren't doing well at all, really. I mean, they've had a little bit of a bounce because they've got a new manager, but they're not doing well. 17th in the league on 16 points. That's 4 wins, 4 draws, and 12 defeats. They've scored 31 goals. They've conceded 45. That gives them a minus 14 goal difference. And as always, here's a few commentator stats just to get us started. Newcastle have won 4 of their last 6 Premier League games against Wolves. That's a 67% win percentage. Having won just 2 of their first 13 against them in the competition, which was only 15%. So we've really turned our look around against them. Wolves have lost each of their last 3 Premier League away games against Newcastle and have never kept a clean sheet in 9 visits to St James's Park in the competition. Do not let that influence your predictions later on, boys, or let it influence it. Let's see what happens. Following their 2-1 win at the Molineux in September, spoiler alert for what we're going to talk about later on, Newcastle are looking to complete their first league double over Wolves. Daryl, do you know when we completed our last league double against Wolves?
Oh, dear me. Never.
1905 to 1906.
Yeah, that was right. Never.
A long
Never.
time ago. Yeah. Pretty much never. You may as well be never. Newcastle versus Wolves has ended as a draw 11 of the 19 occasions being played in the Premier League. The highest ratio of any fixture to be played at least 15 times in the competition at 58%. A lot of percentages this week. And Newcastle have won each of the last 5 Premier League games, as many as the opening 15 matches of the campaign. Won 5, drew 5, lost 5. We last won 6 successive matches in the competition in December 2022. Well, then, that's all the stats. It seems to be very heavily, going to be in our favour, I think, this one, but we'll see. Andy, tell us a little bit about Wolves. They have, I don't want to say they've got a new manager because he's been in for a few weeks now, but they've had a little bit of a new manager bounce, but it's kind of, it seems to be on its way back down again of the past couple of results. Although they've just won in the cup, so they'll be buzzing off that.
Yeah, they had probably the most telegraphed sacking of a manager ever, because if you look at the games they lost prior to Gary O'Neill going, they lost to Everton, West Ham and Ipswich. That's pretty dire for any team. But with Wolves, they were really odd because they had a great little run under Gary O'Neill where they looked like they'd found something.
Yep.
And then in true Wolves fashion, when it goes wrong, they just turn to Portugal. when in doubt, just go to Portugal, whether it's a player or manager or whatever. So they've got this Vitor Pereira guy in now. I didn't know anything about him. And I think because of where Wolves are and the relegation fight not being that exciting yet or this year, no one's really paying attention, but they've actually had a good little run since he's come in, sort of on the sly. And to be fair, I think a lot of the sort of lower teams have, apart from Southampton, bless them. So they went to Leicester and won 3-0 comfortably, relegation side. Beat Man United at home, again, another relegation clash, did really well there. Took a point at White Hart Lane, which, as I know, we've obviously just won there, but that's a tough game. Lost to Forest at home, but I mean, Forest are no mugs. They're somehow in a title race this year.
Yeah.
And then they went quite strong against Bristol City, just gone in the cup, and it won that game as well. So I'd say they're still on a bit of a resurgence. They've one of these teams who they've got sort of gaps and weaklings all over the pitch, but they've got those star men in, Cunha, Strand Larson. I really like Aitnuri, the left back. They've got good players all over the pitch, but they're just, unfortunately for them, straddled with lots of crap as well. So I think the manager's done really well so far. I feel like they maybe have got too much to do. Really, they need teams around them to go off a cliff. They need West Ham to still be rubbish. They need Ipswich to start being rubbish again. They need Everton to continue to be rubbish. But they're one of those teams that they just seem like they've been clinging on a bit. But like you say, we'd never really find a way to beat them. Obviously, this season, this was in our run when we were awful and we needed screamers to save us, kind of like the Bromley game we've just seen. But I think, speaking of that Bromley game with Wolves, I think we're all going into this game expecting us to do well. But as we've seen from Bromley, there are no easy games at any level. A team can turn up and scare you. So we've just got to be on it, because Wolves have got good players. So just got to be professional and get the job done. Yeah,
they're a funny one, Wolves, because obviously you go back, a couple of seasons, Daryl, and they were up there, top 10 finishers. And, they were a team that you always, kind of went into the games with a little bit of anticipation, thinking, they've got players who can really harm you. And I think they lost a few of their big names. You always think of Ruben Neves and all that sort of stuff, and you think, they're the players, if they can keep hold of and build on that team, they're going to be top 6, top 4, and they're going to, they're going to start challenging. And unfortunately, it went the opposite way, and that seemed to be their downfall for this season, definitely. But we'll talk about the game last time around, the 2-1 victory at the Molyneux, which I mentioned earlier, which Andy's just touched on. It was a poor performance from us, but that was when we weren't playing well, but we were getting by results. We were getting through by the skin of our teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to mention what you touched on there about them not quite finding the right formulas and whatnot, and not building on the opportunities that they had a couple of seasons ago. They sort of went through the Portuguese thing and went down and just bought a lot of Portuguese, linked people in, or people who were Portuguese, basically. And
it's because of that scout they've got, isn't it? They've got
the super agent,
big agent. Yeah.
And it was almost as if what could have happened if they'd actually backed Nuno and not lost him. And look what he's doing at Forest now. Anyway, away from that, exactly as you said in the last game down at Molyneux, we were going into that relatively all right. I mean, we all saw that the performances weren't matching the results we were getting. Somehow we were magicking up these wins and getting points on the board. And we all just have to look back at that game and notice that, Harvey Barnes bending one in the top corner from the outside of the box, and then Fabian Schär smashing one in via deflection, as much as it was a huge deflection that wrong-footed Jose Sarr. But, I think that was probably going to end up in the back line anyway. But it was just one of them things. And I think this time it's going to be a bit of a different game. Andy's mentioned there's a little bit of a resurgence with this new manager bounce that they've benefited from. So I think it's going to be a completely different kind of game, and we're really going to have to be on the ball with this and pretty much not step up, because we've now played ourselves into this run of form that, now that we're 5 or 6 games into this, or 7 even if you including the 2 cup games, this is the sort of thing where we now are under our own pressure to maintain it, and that's going to be the biggest thing going into this game. Is we've now, built up a level of expectation with the form that we've produced, and that is, like I said, the biggest thing is to maintain that, and it's up to Eddie and the boys to get that job done.
Yeah, and this is the problem with us of late, Andy. It's we've the hard work's been done. We've beat, Man U, we've beat Spurs in the league, and we've beat Arsenal in the cup. And it's typical Newcastle form to then go to, and this is no disrespect to Wolves, but you go to Wolves, and this is the one where you triple, and this is where you get the defeat where people least expect it. You'd expect to drop points against the previous 2 games in the league, and then you'd expect this one where you'd at least be picking up a point. But there's every chance that this could be the one where we drop a howler.
Yeah, I think that period earlier in the season where we were struggling, there were questions asked of players as to whether they really cared in those sort of lesser quote-unquote games. Obviously, that run we've just had, they were all big games against sort of big. I know some of the opposition was struggling, but still big opposition away from home in London, places we've traditionally struggled, and we've turned up. Like you say, we've got to just go to games like this now and be up for it in the same way. The style of football that Howe plays, it doesn't work if you're half-arsing it. You need to be 100% all the time. Again, just going back to Bromley, there was times in that game where you misplace a pass, and because of the way we play, suddenly you've got, bad League Two opposition charging down the other end and could have been 2-0 up. So we've just got to maintain that consistency. And I think obviously with the lineup, Eddie Howe has he's found the golden formula with the way he sets up the midfield and the attack now. You've got to think he's going to just go back to that. And we've got through that really, really difficult run of fixtures that we're all a bit concerned about. On the other side, looking amazing, and now we're looking at Wolves, Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham. An amazing run of fixtures on paper. We've just got to show that same level of consistency. On the flip side, Wolves have got an absolutely stinking run. They've got us, Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, Liverpool in the league next. So they're at the other end of the spectrum, and they're looking at this game thinking we've just got to go for all of these games. So we've got to be up for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the game for them. You would argue that they would think this is the one out of the next four where they could be picking up points.
Probably Arsenal the way they're playing now.
Yeah, I mean, was Villa the other game that they had? I mean, that's a derby for them. That's a massive game for them. And then you've got, was it Chelsea and Arsenal?
Yeah, so they've obviously got us away. They've got Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, Villa at home. Then they've got the FA Cup, and then they're away at Liverpool.
Wow.
So it's horrendous.
Wolves are going into this game, Daryl, thinking actually, if we don't get anything here, we could not be getting any points until mid-February. I mean, I'm again, no disrespect to Wolves, but they're tough games, and especially the way we've been playing this season, they're very tough games.
Yeah, absolutely. And with a record as bad as it is up here for them, they've really got to be thinking, how they will come into this quite desperate to actually try and get something from the game. So that'll be an extra onus on them to maybe put performance in.
Yeah, that could play into either hand. I mean, that could spur them on. That could actually, spook them out a little bit as well. Obviously, we've rested a lot of players. Well, I say rested. We changed the lineup today because obviously we brought in a lot of players at half time. Is it back to regular program for the lineup, Daryl, in terms of who comes in? I think there's only really maybe a question mark over is Isak fit, centre back parents, and the goalkeeper. So let's take on one of those at a time. So let's talk about Isak because. We went into the last preview. We didn't know at the time of recording of the preview. And again, at the time of recording of this preview, we don't know about any injuries or anything like that. But we didn't know Isak had a little niggle of was it his hamstring or something Eddie Howe said? But we didn't know there was anything wrong with him. Tightness, that was it, yeah. So we just thought he came off to be rested for the cup game, if anything. So I think we're going to have to play that one by ear when it comes to is Isak going to be fit or not for this one. I think he will be. Eddie Howe says he's just going to be given the time off and then come through. But if not, is it Asula? Does he come in? He seemed to take him off early in this game today.
I think I do wonder if that is the case, that he's just preparing him in the eventuality that Isak isn't going to make Wednesday. But I have full faith in the fact that I think he will. And I think it's more to benefit Alexander Isak that he did just have that rest and he can come into Wednesday and just hit the ground running. And I think the best thing that we've seen at the time of recording today, having just watched us go through in the FA Cup, is that goal for Will Asula means that he can be trusted as an option behind Isak rather than having to change the formation and use a midfielder as a false nine, as we did right towards the end. That there is that option there now to use Asula as a direct replacement.
Or Osula, as the stadium announced. But Ron Osula, by the way, I think the only reason he came off was because he wanted to give Sanusi a go, because he brought Hall on at the same time. So I think he was trying to just protect Sanusi, so he wasn't just out there with sort of second string players.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to be playing that 5-5-0 again, not for 90 minutes against.
Why not? It was class.
I mean, yeah, it worked. It worked. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on the Osula thing, it was one half was bring on Sanusi, was it another half, Andy, maybe say a little just insurance policy just in case? Was it just a case of, right, let's just make sure he doesn't get, pick up anything during this game in case, they get frustrated and just start putting in wild tackles in the last 15, 20 minutes, as you sometimes see with some of these lower league teams coming into the game's gone, let's just give them a bit of a beating for the last 20 minutes.
Thankfully, Bromley didn't try and kick the shit out of us at the end. They were all right, to be fair. They actually played proper football. I was actually really impressed. But considering your only other striking option has legs made of Weetabix, I think you've got to look after Osula because he's one of these. He looks like such a rough diamond. His physical attributes, he's unreal. We talk about Joe Linton a lot and his physical attributes with his pace and his strength and everything. Osula is similar. Like he's an absolute tank. It's like if a tank had nos on the back. It's ridiculous. I think we saw it a bit with Sanusi as well. It was almost like getting too excited when they're trying to dribble past people and things like that, and sort of falling over themselves a bit. But every time I've seen Osula, I think with a lot of us, we'd probably agree. We've kind of said, "Oh, why is this guy not getting a bit more time? He looks all right," because he was just getting like 2-minute cameos, 5-minute cameos, and I didn't really think it was fair. But then, he can't be too aggrieved looking at probably the best striker in the league at the moment, being above him. I don't think you can really knock on the door too much for how.
No.
With him, and then you obviously mentioned centre back pairings as well.
We can move on to that.
Yeah, I think I know Daryl will probably want to talk about it a bit as well, but for me, and I think we're going to do something separate, aren't we, about centre back pairings just generally.
Yeah.
But for me, our best centre back pairing when everyone's fit is Botman and Shah. I know Byrne has been amazing this season, but Botman just gives you that sense of calm and assurance. Neither of them's quick, but Botman is just mint, and I love him. But who knows? I'll let Daryl go on to the centre backs a bit because he loves a defender.
Was it Botman's birthday today? Did I see? So do you think maybe House just give me his birthday off? I'm sure I saw Twitter, the NUFC Twitter account put a happy birthday to Botman today. So do you think maybe he's just give me his birthday off? That way,
how nice! They give him a cake in the players' street with a candle in it with his number on.
4 candles, blow it out. Not candles for folks, but sorry.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of defensive pairings, I totally agree with Andy, and I think what Shea and Botman lack in pace, they make up for in intelligence and the passing ability as well. In terms of how Eddie will play it on Wednesday, I'm really not so sure, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm glad it's a headache I don't have to manage personally. I have a feeling
turning into Ian. That was Ian's catchphrase last season.
Good to have.
I remember using it as well with Ian on many occasions last season. And like, I really don't know which way he'll go. I think he might even revert back to having Botman and Byrne playing together this midweek in particular.
Will it be 2 games for Byrne? He didn't play the last game, did he? It'll be 2 games rested now for Byrne because he played Botman and Share against.
He played Botman. No, he played Botman and
it was Byrne and Botman. Botman was the right centre half.
Oh, I was going to say
if
going through trickle, weren't they?
Shah is lucky, really, that Botman is left-footed because you could argue that the best centre-back partnership would be Byrne and Botman. You obviously just have this weird thing where right-footers can play left centre-back, but left-footers can't play right centre-back for some reason.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just upsets the balance. But, I mean, for me, Botman's so good that he can play right centre-half.
Yeah.
And his right foot's pretty good. I mean, you see someone like Van Dijk, he is constantly playing passes with his weak foot on his left side. And I think Botman can do something similar.
Yeah, totally agree. But yeah, I think you'll probably revert back to Botman and Byrne for that one. Like I say, I mean, to be honest, we're not going to be disappointed whichever partnership he decides to choose from because they're all doing really well and they all play very well together. I think again when it comes to, have we mentioned the goalkeeper yet? We started at the front. And
we could move on to the goalkeeper now. That was the third topic, so let's do it.
I think
got a lovely little serenade today, didn't he?
He certainly did. From us lot in the corner, we're certainly giving him a little "please don't go" and all that sort of thing. So I'd like to think he'll probably be starting on Wednesday.
Yeah, it is a weird one with Dubravka because I mean we were all pretty certain on the last preview even that he played his last game and that was it.
I think we were happy. Today, I think we were relatively happy until we read that he might be going on a free, and everyone was like, "Whoa, hang on!
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to get rid of him, like,
for him, what kind of sign anyone else?
We're basically just ripping up his contract for no reason. Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, and I think maybe Eddie Howe's seen that and going, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Aye.
No. Do I get final say here? I think I do, right? No.
Aye.
So I think I think we're all in agreement that it's, if he's still here, and I think it's a very, very small if, and it's a very strong he will be. Reading what I think every Northeast correspondent has put on Twitter after the match as well, that not only will he be here, that he looks like he's signing a new contract to be here for longer than just the end of this season. It's going to be Dubravka who will be between the sticks.
I need to watch Bromley's goal back because I don't know whether he could have done a bit better with it. Because
did get a hand to it.
My opinion on Dubravka has changed a little bit. I thought he was horrendous at the end part of last season, and I was terrified at the thought of him coming in. I'm not terrified anymore, but I do still think there's massive weaknesses in his game, and he's been. I mean, one of my mates said that he's basically just had to stand still for 6 games, and now we're all saying he's the next coming of like Lev Yashin or something. But I think that's a bit harsh. I think he has had quite a bit to do. He's been really well protected by his defence. But I think the important thing for Dubravka is that he's a safe pair of hands, and you know what you're going to get with him.
That was the problem with the goal today. He didn't get any protection. That shot should never have even been able to be taken. It was a good goal, but the 3 in midfield, it was like watching the 3 Stooges. They just kept running into each other, and then they just emerged with the ball.
From watching that goal from the complete opposite side to you, Andy, it looked like it was going in as soon as it left his foot. But again, like what Scott's just said, there was no protection, and he used those defenders well, and he just bent the ball around the defenders, and it nestled in the bottom corner. And I did wonder if Dubravka could have done better with it immediately.
Andy Woodman probably said, "I've trained this guy. Shoot to that side of him. He can't dive that way."
Hey, you never know.
Never know. Well, we're back to that time of the previews, and we're back with VAR. It's been 2 without VAR. So let's talk about Ref Watch. Daryl, who will be the man in charge for this one, and who will the video referee be?
So, referee for Wednesday's game is going to be South Yorkshire's Daryl England. It's his 2nd Newcastle game of the season after the 1-1 draw down at Selhurst Park.
You called him the Yorkshire Whistler.
Yeah. He's last seen in the 1-1 draw down at Crystal Palace, a game that we thought we were all going to win until the death when they equalised. Sadly, there's no wins in the last 3 games he's taken charge of with Newcastle United. That's 2 draws of 1-1 and a 1-0 defeat. And his Premier League record this season is 8 games refereed, 36 yellow cards and 2 reds. So I think we're going to try and arrest that little slide of no wins in the games he's taken charge of recently. Graham Scott is going to be the man on VAR, and he was last seen on VAR for the 3-0 win against Villa on Boxing Day.
Oh, there you are. Good and bad omens.
All over the place, yeah.
Both, yeah.
Is it me as well, by the way? But there's been less controversy in these games without VAR. I feel like there's been no referee drama. But that's just my opinion.
Well, if you remember,
the penalty shot was spot on today. It was definitely a penalty for me. It was pretty instant. No one was really complaining, and just got on with it. It was nice.
It was funny that we had the trial for the announcements last week, and we didn't even have one.
What happened in Liverpool? I didn't even watch the game.
I think Liverpool, therefore my decision is offside. Thanks.
Yeah, I think
big insight.
I think Liverpool and Tottenham had one.
Oh, okay.
But that was it. One out of the 2 games. So it's weird because when you see it as a trial, you think, oh, hopefully there'll be a few so we can see it working in action. And then we had none. There was just one in the other
game. Are we getting it in the second leg?
I think we are. Yeah, we'll see it in the second leg.
Probably have to because it would be a pretty shit trial.
And I don't know if they see it as a successful trial. I don't know how quickly they'll try and implement it. It's probably something that we'll probably not see till next season, to be honest, in the Premier League.
Well, they still need to bring
in the automated.
In
the Carabao or something.
Yeah, that was supposed to come in by Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyways. Well, let's turn our attentions to the all-important bit. This is the bit that we all get wrong every week. Let's talk about the predictions. Andy, mate, I'll come to you this week.
Oh, cheers.
You're welcome. What are you going for?
Yeah, I think obviously I think Wolves have had a little lift, but I mean they've had a little lift. We've had a monumental rise. So I think they're probably playing us at a bad time. I cannot not predict us winning, given how we've been. We've got everyone who's come here, and every place we've gone to recently, we've managed to win. And I just think we're going to have too much for them, provided we haven't got any injuries and provided we are up for it, as we've said. I can see us winning it. I don't think it'll be an easy win by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to say we are going to keep a clean sheet. So I'm going to go 2-0. I obviously have to say Isak to score because the lad scores every week. And then for me, random one, I'll say Lewis Hall. Why not? The lad can do everything.
Yeah.
Another amazing knee slide from him required, I think.
Yeah, my FPL will thank you for that as well. Daryl, mate, what are you going for?
I think Wolves might actually, I don't know why, I just feel like they might get a goal because they've had this little upturn recently, so they're becoming a bit more potent in front of goal. So I think they'll probably get one, and I'm going to go with a 3-1 win. And I'm going to go with Isak, Gordon, and Sandro for goals.
Nice. Well, I'm going to split yours down the middle. I'm going to say 3-0.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. No. Yeah, I do think we'll keep a clean sheet. I think we've rested a lot of players where I think Wolves didn't, based on what I saw and what Andy was talking about earlier on. They weren't pretty strong. So I think I just hope we haven't killed our momentum by doing what we've done today, but I don't think we will have done. The fact the game is in 2 days' time, or 3 days' time, it's Sunday, 3 days' time. I don't think that hasn't had a bearing on killing any momentum. If we were playing at the weekend,
Bruno and Tonali all played against Bromley.
Well, yeah, they did all come on, didn't they, eventually?
They all got
and
some
Gordon came
legs.
on, and Hall came on. So we only really didn't play Tonali in the two
right-hand
centre backs. Not Tonali, Livramento. And Murphy had a rest. So I don't think it's going to affect us at all. So I think 3-0. Again, you kind of knock back Isak to score. Kind of not really back Gordon at this minute to score or at least get an assist. But I'm going to go front three. I think we'll get Murphy, Isak, and a Gordon trifecta of goal scorers. Let's do that. Let us know in the comments below what you think your predictions are going to be. Let us know in the comments below how you think the game's going to be. Wolves fans, if you've made it this far, if you're watching, how's your season going? Are you happy with your new manager? Are you happy with the way things have gone? How confident are you now based on what you were at the start of the season when, we played each other last? Has that changed? Has your opinion changed in the league? And are you as confident going into this one as you were going into the game back in September? Let us know in the comments. While you're down there, if you want more of our videos in your feed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell to be notified when videos go live. And if anybody wants to become a member, they can be. It's $2.99 a month. That gets you early access to videos like this one, as well as access to the Telegram group and access to exclusive content and exclusive podcasts. I'm trying to think of what else we give. We give so much more. But that's about it for this one. We will see us all in the next one. What's the next game after this one? There's so many. I can't remember. Bournemouth. The Cherries. Yes, we will see us all then. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Daryl and Andy.
All right.
You're up.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.